And here we are, the first ever live podcast. It is, what day is it? It's the 9th of July.
The day before the full moon, which is tomorrow, somewhere around 1 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon. I'm not absolutely certain. We're in California. I'm in California. We're both in California.
Oh, yeah.
So this one's live because it's time to talk to people at the moment of activity, even though we will record it and then it'll be out there as a YouTube that can be looked at, right? Is that right?
It's going to be we're still going to put it out as a podcast. We could put it into a different thing, but yeah, we just wanted to start to offer it live so that if people wanted to watch it live, but also to comment and be a part of it, then we wanted to start to offer that. So
right. Well, this is more of an experiment than a planned program, but and so I've kind of got a microphone on the edge of things that might jump in, but we will schedule them. But everybody's schedule's a little erratic right now, so we kind of try to schedule them as we can. And I just want them to be, I want them to be live in the sense that this is about love. This is about what's going on right now in the world, in this moment, with the energy of love engaging the human race. And that's up to us. That's up to us to do. If we don't do it, it goes past. It's like noise going by us. If we just let it go by, nobody hears it, nobody does anything. But if you're acting, you're creating as a human being, and you want love engaged in what you're creating and doing, then we have to consciously choose that to happen. And if we do, to some degree, it's going to happen. Now, how we make that happen is a talent that we're developing. The human race is developing it. I describe it at the Love Foundry, we describe it as a posture in relationship to love, whereby the harmony with love allows it to flow into, through, and into the life that we are all living. Now, that's an individual choice, and then it becomes a group choice, and then it becomes a human choice for the whole tribe of us. But it has to start somewhere with each person. Each person has to decide at some point, whatever else I'm doing, I want that energy included in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And if you want it, I don't know how good you are at it, how weak you are in it, how uncertain you are about it, doesn't make any difference. Everybody starts where they are. You got to walk where your feet are. And you will grow in that power and that ability along with others, and add your quota of love to the world experience right now as you get better at it. And I don't know how you're going to do with that. I don't know how I'm going to do with it, or Taylor, or any of us.
Yeah.
But it's a philosophy of living that changes how we live. And if you don't know how to do it, that's great. That just means you got something to learn. And how are you going to learn it? Well, you're going to learn it by doing it.
Yeah.
It's like swimming.
No
you don't
other
know how, swimming is kind of the same way. You feel like you're going to drown. You don't know how to stay afloat. You're just whacking around at the water with your arms. And so, but you have an intention to learn how to swim, and you know it's possible. So you try to stay in reasonably shallow water while you practice. Well, we're certainly in shallow water. We're not in anything deep. But we do have to intend to do it. You have to be committed to expressing love in your conscious life. Now, what's the difference to you, Seb, between expressing love consciously or unconsciously?
Well, for a start, I think it's hard to really. I I don't know how well love works if you're unconscious to it. I know it does, because there's times in my life when um, a situation has come about me, and the moment I feel it happening, and that makes me conscious of it. But there's times in my life where I choose to consciously offer love, and that's a totally different thing. And it's harder to choose it and hold it consciously. Um, but the times when it comes out, I think, unconsciously, and then you at some point become conscious of the fact that it's happening and it's in your reality, they're few and far between. I think if you wait for those moments to come, then progress is going to be very slow. And I think,
Well, look, given the condition of the human race and the length of time we've had love available to us, I wouldn't disagree with you.
yeah,
I
but
think, I
it's
think,
hard to hold it consciously. It's so easy for it to slip out of your consciousness, because
well, it is if you don't know how. Look, we're driving around in cars at 80, 90 miles an hour all the time.
yeah,
And we're not even thinking about it. We're chewing gum. We're talking to somebody, eating a hot dog. We're rolling down the highway. We're flying through time and space
yeah,
because we have grown accustomed to the idea of that. And it's not
yeah, that's
hard
true.
at all. To someone who's not accustomed to it, it's terrifying. So I agree with you. It's hard because we don't know what we're doing.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
it's invisible. It's invisible. And if you're trying to keep something invisible going on in your space, then you have to imagine it. You have to use your creative imagination to visualize the invisible visible. In other words,
yeah,
visualize a great golden stream of love coming down into you and out from you. That's a visualization. Now, if you understand invocation and evocation, you'll realize that by visualizing that, you're invoking it. You're asking for it to come
yeah,
through the visualization. Now, love's already here. It doesn't have to arrive from anywhere. It's everywhere already. What it does have to do is come into interaction with our causative power, our ability to be alive with love in the space. And we have things in the way of that from our past. So we don't
yeah,
know by visualizing. So if we visualize the color of love, we give love a beautiful golden color. Doesn't matter what color you give it. Love doesn't care. Love has very little concern for any of the trappings of things. If you're visualizing it as some golden color, a white color, a silver color, it's going to respond. It might be a different color. It might be no color at all, but it knows your intention, and your intention is the invocation. So this creature, this human creature, Seb, is saying, I want to experience this. I want to grow into this relationship with you. And so love is going to respond to that because it wants that relationship. It's offering itself for that. And that's been known for a long time, that there is a way to get into the same space with love and invoke it and invite it. And whether you form a conversation or whether you just visualize it or just imagine it happening, I don't know if love cares. I just know that it will respond to the degree it can, given your condition and your willingness and your art of the deal. So I say, if you want it, reach for it, try it, go for it, and
yeah,
decide that it's possible for you. It's possible for every human being. It's possible for every creature in the universe at some point to invoke, invite, and relate to love itself. That
yeah,
seems to be the truth of things. So I say, act on the truth of things abundantly, creatively, willingly, and give it some time to respond to you. And I don't think it's something we need to do all the time because we can't do it all the time. We have other things on our mind. We have to pay the rent, take care of situations, handle stuff in our life. And it occupies us sometimes so much that we can't remember that we were visualizing love and we were trying to
yeah,
include it. It doesn't contradict anything we do. I think if you're robbing a bank, love doesn't care. It's not worried about your actions. It's not worried. You are interfering with it. If your motive is negative, you're probably going to cause love to not function well in your environment. And so, but sometimes people don't know that they're doing a negative emotion. They don't know that what they're doing is hostile to love. So they are interfering with themselves. So love has an abundant sense of forgiveness and inclusiveness and positive exception to what we do. So, and right now, relevant to a live podcast about it is we're in the cusp of the full moon of Cancer. And the full moon of Cancer is a mighty energy pouring into the human experience right now. So it's something that can be used towards this same motivation, I think. If we have, I mean, Cancer is an incredible constellational energy of great maturity and experience and support of the human condition. It's not just some astrology that comes around once a year and gives us people to be born in Cancer. It has energetic aspects. And when it aligns with love, then that energetic aspect becomes very group, very encouraging to everyone at the same time. Cancer supports the mothering of the whole human race, of actually everything on Earth. And so you have this powerful mothering energy. And if we overlight that with love by visualizing it, now we're strengthening. And if we right now, for example, Jupiter is in Cancer, which means that it's letting its particular energy, which is an expansive, positive bonfire energy, coming in with Cancer. So it intensifies the Cancer properties. And it's a great combination for us to turn our attention to invoking love into our expression. And then if you're thinking about it in a logical way, which is good because this is a logical process, intellect won't do the job, but it'll give you logical understandings of how to get the job done. The visualization and imagination of love, that's separate from intellect. That's not you having an intellectual idea about it. That's you actually using a faculty of your mind or a faculty of your nature to imagine, to visualize, to invoke. Those are things that transcend pure intellect. They are actions engaged in a multiple stream of energies, because our imagination has a capacity to reach beyond our normal status, wherever we actually are, positively or negative. So I think if we take these moments of charge and we align ourselves with them and we invoke and invite love as a process, we're going to find ourselves experiencing it. Now, how do you let yourself know you're experiencing it? What do you do within yourself to allow you to find a contact with that energy that you've invoked? Because that's different. Invoking it is imagining it and watching it flood. Now, another part of you, your inner senses, can reach out and open up and feel that touch when it shows up. See, that's a dual process there. You doing it and it coming. Do you have a way in which you do that? How do you adjust yourself to that sensation?
Well, the first thing is remembering that I have to do it. That might even be the hardest part of the whole step. But once I remember to, I normally just take a breath and I come back to myself, because normally, I get wrapped up in my head, and there is a visualization aspect to it, which is pretty much just light coming down. And I don't so much try to visualize what the light looks like. I just know that the the light comes from above. So I look up to see what that is, and I sort of bring that down in a sort of visual way. But for me, it's very sensation based, and it's the feeling of calm and just presence that comes in that moment, and then I try and stay with that and hold that. And normally whatever sort of moment I was just in suddenly got a lot better. But
Yeah.
despite it being better, I will quickly in a lot of times forget to carry on doing that when the next thing comes up, and I concentrate on that instead. But
Well, okay. Well, that's a problem to solve. But
yeah,
first, we have to get a baseline. And it
first,
shouldn't
yes,
bother you that that's probably not true. When you talk about love coming from above down,
yeah,
that's an intellectual visualization based on a material orientation.
yes,
In fact, it's coming out, probably out of the center. But it's hard to put the center above us and in us at the same time. So I think it's important to recognize that it doesn't matter to love whether you think of it as coming down the antakarana, or down the life channel that brings your soul life or your higher frequency life down into your material life, and then maybe even above that, the spirit life down into the soul life, down into the human life. That's already going on. Your heart is beating because your body of life is attached to you. And if you want to visualize it being attached to you from above down to your heart, down to your conscious mind, or the cells of your body, no one cares. It is attached, it is outgoing. Now, some people who think in a more spherical process to toward the universe think of love as coming from the center outward. The
yeah,
trouble with that is it's larger at the center than it is at the outset. So it doesn't compute with the brain. So we have a hard time. We run into limitations when we try and use reality as our model, because your brain that you're using to be inside your personality doing this is using material atoms to form your visualizations and your reality. Well, the multidimensional universe transcends physical and material atoms in terms of its geography and its geometry and its way of moving from one plane to another, from within to without, from higher to lower. All of these senses of directions look differently from different perspectives, and they're all correct. From a certain point of view, a waterfall flows from the top to the bottom because of gravity and water. But if you looked at it from another plane of existence, you might see water flowing some completely different way. And you'd both be correct, but you're looking at it from two different perspectives. So I think it's important to give yourself the leeway that there is no right or wrong way to do this.
yeah,
It's the way that brings you in touch with it. And know that as you graduate higher and higher in maturity with interaction on a greater depth inside of you, with higher levels inside of you, that it's going to change. You're going to have to let go of how you've been looking at it, and you're going to have to let it acquire a new geometry with you, or a new type of relationship, and then feel comfortable with that, because it's going to change. If you're the Buddha, you're not looking at anything the way we are. Or if you're the Christ, or if you're somebody who has spiritual maturity. So I think that that's an important caveat to keep in the back of your mind. But your commitment to experience love as a power inside of you, that needs to just be locked onto.
yeah,
However I sense it, however I see it, however I feel it, that will change, because my senses are going through changes. And that's fine. There's no right or wrong way. Just at the moment you're in, there's a right way. That's all. And if it works, then it's flowing. So in this particular moment, we have the energies of Cancer involved. We have the energies of Jupiter involved. We have all the other planetary energies to some degree and in some way engaged in the Earth's sphere of inclusive energies that are moving around in us, plus Earth's own energy. And this is true of you in any group of people. You got Seb's energy in the room. It's your birthday party, or you're at whatever event you're at. And then you have all the people around you, and they all have their own unique signatures. And they're all sharing the same base energy of life. And most of us in the human race at this stage of our maturity, we're filtering out or rejecting being conscious of the energy of love, so it's not animating powerfully in us. You can be emotionally feeling loving towards the group you're with, but that's an emotional charge. That's not the energy of love itself. And that takes some discrimination to learn as well. Love is a dynamic, enormously powerful, living energy. It's not an emotional force.
Yeah.
An emotional force is a relatively low frequency energy of nature called emotion, charged with a purpose or a feeling, as we call it. Jealousy, anger, happiness, whatever you want to qualify an emotion to and direct it towards another person. Now you're throwing some energy around, but don't pretend that that's love, because love is a very different living power.
But I think the benefit of having a strong emotion towards something, and it's easier if it's
Positive.
the emotion a positive emotion, is if you can, if you're already at the stage where you can recognize love, and that's already a part of your being, then when that emotion comes up that isn't love, but you can choose to offer it to love. You can offer it up because you've already got energy, you've already got a focus, and rather than letting it just live in you, you can go, hold on, I know what I actually want to do with this, and you can offer that to love, and you can put all of your focus back to love and use that energy that you just had to keep that focus. Because sometimes, we're not that focused about things, but
No, no, most of the time.
yeah,
But I don't think it has to be a positive emotion either. You can be angry as hell at somebody, and right in the
absolutely.
middle of that, go, "What the hell am I doing? I love
Yes.
you." So you immediately drop it, and
Yeah.
you take this whole creative power of love, and it really works well if you're in one of those dynamic motions
Mm.
of being at the edge of your stuff, because now you're out there where you can actually act without censoring yourself, thinking about yourself. Then you can just say, wait a minute, what am I doing here? I love this person, and you can declare that, and suddenly love will respond, and sometimes create a dramatic shift. So don't we can't limit the energy of love. It is intelligent, responsive, and creative. It has the power of transformation, transmutation, unity, and grace. It can move mountains instantly. And so we are just learning how to tap into that part of the universe that surrounds us. And I just mention it because we're in a full moon, because I believe that the energies of Cancer and the energies of the solar system, the energies of the solar being that's radiating sunshine on the earth, and the energies of Jupiter are mature, so mature that they are fully aware of and fully active with love. And they're not going to diminish that. They're not going to act less than loving once they learn how. Neither are you or me. Once we realize that we can incorporate that power into our being, why would we do anything less?
Mm.
There is no reason on earth to do anything less. That doesn't determine what you do with it, whether you're launching a ship or building a fire, but you wouldn't do anything less than include it, because that's the most positive and creative thing any being can do. You can't force it on anyone, but you can certainly honor it in yourself. And that honoring is what the human race is missing. We're not honoring love in ourselves. We're acting without it.
Yeah.
We're acting on emotion. We're acting on thought. And we're trying to create outcomes that serve our desires or our personal interests. Love's not interested in that. It's not its goal. Its goal is the perfection of love in all things over time by not violating the free will of any being. Now, humans have free will. Other things do not. They have the natural instinct that Mother Nature has given them, animals, plants, minerals. So they stay within the boundaries of their given laws of instinct. Now, humans have instinct, but they also have self-conscious awareness, so we can transcend our human instinct towards each other by doing something that we want towards others. We can make it better than our human instinct. And we frequently do. People sacrifice their lives for others. And that doesn't give you any personal benefit, does it? If you sacrifice your life to save another's life or to do something for another that is extraordinary, where is the personal vanity in that? Where's the personal selfishness in that? There really just isn't one. But people do it all the time. They do it in war. They do it in emergency situations. They throw themselves into danger and risk, not for people they don't even know. It's one thing to do it for your family. That's an instinct.
Yeah.
But and there's somebody's texting me, and I'm just seeing if it relates to what we're doing, but it's not. So we need to stay charged with the realization that any moment we're in, right now we're on the cusp of a full moon, which intensifies all of these energies and allows opportunity for everybody to take a step. And the world is on fire right now. You can take a look almost anywhere in the world and you'll see stuff going on. Some of it's pretty dangerous and crazy. But it all can be changed and transformed by love, except the players engaged in the drama mostly are too busy to be conscious of love, too scared, too worried. And yet the healing of life is through love. The healing of all negative conditions is through love. And if it's available to us through our conscious effort, then applying ourselves towards it is the logical thing to do when we find ourselves in circumstances of great challenge and difficulty. And if we've got positive energies roaring around in the atmosphere, like Cancer and Jupiter and Uranus and all that kind of stuff, then I think binding those to yourself, applying them to your purpose of including your consciousness in a greater loving way is the place to start. And then take action with it. And as I said, just visualize in love and then waiting until you feel the sensation of contact that tells you your visualization of that beautiful golden light is going on and causing something to shift in you. And follow the shift. Don't follow your visualization. That's something you created. Don't fall in love with your own creation. It's like believing your own press, like the old actresses and actors used to do it. They'd write their own press release and then go, wow, I really am something, huh? But I mean, this is a tricky business because of the illusions and the glamours of a human being. Our ability to lie to ourselves, tell ourselves things that aren't true, deny things that are true, act against the very creative power of the divine life we live and are a part of. So how do you feel about it in Cancer?
Well, I don't really know the properties too well of what Cancer brings.
Well, there's a definition to that. Cancer is the builder of forms. Cancer is the life that transforms human instinct into soul consciousness, into conscious, loving action. So it lifts you out of instinct and into a conscious actor with love. Cancer does that. Cancer builds the house of light, which is the spiritual house, and dwells in that house to act to bring you towards it. So there's a lot of premises in Cancer's activity that have to do with human development and evolution. And it also reveals beauty, which is love in form. Love in form creates beauty. So there's a very direct, practical contact that Cancer's offering. Very few are actually looking for that. If you're looking for it in that energy, and you're inviting that energy into your consciousness or into your group, then there's a good chance you're going to find that sense of inclusiveness, that sense of feeling love joining you in your desire to have Cancer and you and greater conscious beings interacting with each other. And if we look at the 12 labors of Hercules, or if we look at the 12 zodiacal signs, then we see in an abbreviated way, because we don't have really clear conscious relationship to these things yet, we'll see in an abbreviated way how each of these is attempting to influence the maturing and perfection of a human culture on Earth. We don't know what they're doing on Jupiter, or what those solar beings are doing on other planetary schemes. But on Earth, we've come to understand that Cancer is doing a certain thing with humanity if we allow it. But it's doing it with love. So if you ignore love in your life as an energy, then you're filtering it out. And then the only influence the zodiacal sign can have on you is going to be negative, which is what the 12 labors of Hercules were about. The being, Hercules, was attempting to demonstrate the positive relationship of each of these zodiacal signs to himself and the world, and not the personality, ego, negative use of them. So instead of finding the negative demonstration of Cancer, all the things that every sign has its negative and its positive. So instead of demonstrating the negative as a selfish lesson, Hercules was attempting to center himself in the positive. He'd had enough of the selfish lesson. He wanted to demonstrate the positive demonstration of it. And he wasn't very good at it, so he made mistakes. But that was the point of that. How do you reverse yourself from going around the circle of experience in the direction of improving your negative personality, ego? How do you reverse that and use those same energies in their positive format to increase the group soul properties? And that's what we're here to learn now, is to try to think that through. It doesn't mean that you've finished building your negative personality. You have to finish it. You have to finish the work you started. And then you, having done that, you can say, okay, now that's mostly done. So I'll finish that off as I go. I'll look at how to perfect my logic or intellect or emotional tones. But now I want to work on this love energy and start building that into my conscious expression. And then it's a transition period over quite a period of time while you step out of one and into the other. You're not going to just, bam, there it goes. You're done with that now. It might happen, but it's pretty rare. So we got to open our eyes up, open our consciousness up, and start taking personal action in this deal. You know, that's what happened to Jesus. He didn't have a choice. Love entered him, and he let it. When he got baptized by John, he opened up, and bam, there it comes. Now, what's he going to do about it? Well, he was a mature enough being, amazingly so, that he could handle expressing it positively through himself. He was like, oh, okay, I'll do this. And he did, right up to the point where they murdered him for doing it. And he did not stop and revolt against love in anywhere in the process, or turn against things. And as a result of that, something amazing was born for the humanity in the process. So here we are, and it can be done because it's been demonstrated. Once something's demonstrated for humanity, that's its best lesson. It's just showing you you can do it. It can be done. Done by one human being, it can be done by everybody.
Yeah.
So 2,000 years later, we're kind of getting ready to try to take that on. Well, I don't know who Jesus was personally, but I know that he was an extraordinarily developed human being, or he wouldn't have been able to handle it from the beginning. So maybe the rest of us aren't quite in that category yet. So that's fine. You'll get there. Everybody does at some point in time. But
I don't know if you've been feeling this at all, Dan, because it's not. I also want to add. I love what you gave about cancer, and that seems like it's going to be offering a lot. But normally, before a full moon, I'll feel the energy. But with this one in particular, I didn't have it like a day or two ago. I feel shaky from it, and I don't know if that's just myself getting ready for an adjustment or what it is, but I feel almost like I'm on
too much cough
or not enough coffee. But yeah,
well, that's natural. I think that's, look, it's the same maybe energy as stage fright. What happens to when you got to go out and stage in front of 5,000 people and do something that you're good at, but there's room in it for mistake, a song, a dance, an act, then energy joins you, the energy that you're going to use for that action, for that activity.
yeah.
And it's so much of it because you haven't put it into motion yet that it makes us nervous. It makes us feel jumpy. It makes us feel like we've expanded our aura out 3 times its size, which probably we have. But the moment that you take action, the moment you step into the activity, well, you do acting, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The moment you step into the role and start speaking your lines, everything flows. Then all that energy is being turned into the accomplishment of your objective. And that's true of love as well. And because we don't know how to do that, it's like, what's my first step? Do I lead with my right foot or do I lead with my left foot? And when we get confused, we get paralyzed. But you got to lead with something, so just step out. And when you just step out, then the second step will bring you back into balance. And if you step out not big enough, you can always pull it back. If you step out too big, you can correct. You can always adjust after the first step, but you have to take the first step. And so I think that's what that energy comes down to, because it's overstimulating your bodies. You have a lot of bodies. You got an emotional body, you got a mental body, you got a physical endocrine system, you've got a nervous system, you got autonomic nervous system, you got all these different bodies in you, and they're all trying to work in harmony with each other. And then you want to invoke something like the energy of love into the already established system, and you got a full moon amplifying the energy already. But that's exciting if you like excitement.
Yeah.
It's scary if you react with fear. So step in, take action, connect to the intention to express love and only love. Don't worry about everything else because it expresses itself. We all have habits of expressing everything else in the book, but our habit of expressing the dynamic property of love is really weak in the human race. So we need to step in and be doing that.
Yeah.
Now the part you're talking about, that's where you forget to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because you get busy doing other things that attract your attention. I think that's mostly you haven't figured out how to look at life as a complete being yet. In other words, all these hidden frequencies that are in a human being that science has not found in quantum mechanics or in something else. There's all these subtler frequencies, the frequencies of love, the frequencies of the soul, the frequencies of spirit, the frequencies of these things that are way up there in the unregistered conscious field of our inner life. But they're a part of your anatomy. They are part of you. They're already part of you. They don't become part of you when you become conscious of them. They're already part of you. You're simply becoming conscious more of who you are. So try to think about taking try to bring down, if down is what you like, try to bring out, if out is what you like, try to bring out the whole person you are, which includes spirit, it includes soul, it includes love, it includes will, it includes intelligence. You see, you have all these different frequencies in you, and you have free will. So use your free will to bring the whole enchilada out onto the table and keep doing it. Don't leave anything out. Don't be willing to ignore what you don't see and don't register and aren't familiar with. Why would you do that? You know, a wolverine doesn't do that. It's a tough little creature that'll chew your foot off. But it's not going to be less than itself, ever. It might not always be fighting with something bigger than itself, but it can be making love with another wolverine. But it's certainly got the capacity to do it. And you have the capacity to express levels of yourself that you've never stopped to really think about. Now, I've studied more of those levels in my own experience to validate them, levels of spirit, levels of group consciousness, levels of group soul, levels of all of these different things that are in the higher frequencies. But that doesn't give me access to them until I put them into action, until I try to represent a whole person to the world. And if you're going to represent a whole person called Seb, you'd better include love. You'd better include that. And you better include spirit, because spirit is what gets you up in the morning and says, let's go give it one more fucking try. Because as hard as it is, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up on it. And so it's not a mood, it's an attitude. It's an attitude of wanting more impact in the world, more realization of yourself, supporting your intention, supporting the human race, supporting the life you live, supporting life itself. You just want to be more than you already are. And as you reach for that, starting with love, if you reach for love, that includes everything that you're missing, basically. So get it going, get the wholeness of you going. And then when you start living large, living as you fullness of yourself, love is there with you. And you don't forget it, because it just becomes a part of your expressing nature. And you can't forget that, because that's what you want. You want to be more than you are. You're already doing it to whatever degree you are. So you might as well become conscious of it, because being self-conscious and aware is what the human is designed to do. Not just accidental. Consciously aware of your actions on life and on the universe. And we have to stop thinking that daddy or God or somebody's going to show up and tell you what to do. It's your job to do your job. Your job is yours. Now, it's good to have a mentor, and we do have mentors. We have spiritual mentors. We have God mentors. We have a lot of help. But in the end, we're there to do what? Teach you how to live your fullness, the fullness of your life, with courage and commitment and joy. And if we stop looking for somebody else to take responsibility for our life, we'll realize that we are fully responsible for it. Always have been, always will be. Nobody's picking up the slack for any of us. Well, That's not exactly the case, because the human race has been making terrible mistakes for a long time, and there are great spiritual beings which sacrifice themselves to take the hit for us, so while we figure it out. But they're quietly withdrawing that so that we will take on more responsibility. Because if daddy's fixing it for you all the time, you never learn to fix it for yourself. So I think that that's where the human race is right this second. Right this second on Earth, I think that the unity of life is saying to the human race as a group, take it on yourself. Stop. We're not going to pick up your slack for you anymore. You're big enough now to not turn every little scientific adventure you get into a weapon. You're smart enough to know that this takes a group to live on this planet. You've had enough childish education to start taking responsibility to live as real beings, spiritual beings, whole beings. And I think that when that time comes, we'd better do it. Because when life steps back from you like a baby, you're going to let the baby fall down. Not to get hurt. You don't want it to get hurt. But you know that it has to learn to walk. And it learns to walk by staggering across the floor on the edge of falling down until it gets its feet under it. And I think that's where the human race is right this minute, entering the Aquarian cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why wouldn't we be? Because we've thought about this a lot. We've developed intellect, we've developed science, we've developed spirituality, we've developed these things in ourselves. Too much, maybe, because we have every different kind there is, but we haven't seemed to put down harming each other. And that's because we've elected leaders to lead us. And when I say elected, I don't care if Putin may think he put himself in charge of Russia, but the Russian people put him there. They wanted him there. They wanted Xi in charge of China. They wanted someone who would take responsibility for them, tell them what to do, be the one that they could trust to make everything work out for them. And they got somebody who took control. So we have to find a way in which we understand our relationship to leadership. How do we put people in charge that will choose love? By wanting it ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think now is the time for the Slavic people on the earth, and that's a great group of people, to take that responsibility on and say, okay, we're going to add love to this process, which Putin doesn't seem to be able to do very well. So, and that's, for reasons. There are reasons for all of that, which we can talk about another time. Anyway, I'm just looking at it now because we're on the edge of Cancer, which is a great sign. Cancers are known for their ability to help everybody, take everybody into their care and consideration, and really want things to work out for the group. So use those energies while we got them to bring love in and become part of that creative power. That's my conversation for Cancer.
Maybe we can do a full moon recording, or maybe another live like this.
Well, I don't know what Cancer will bring tomorrow when I do a group meditation with a group that you're participating with.
Yeah.
That group will meditate on what's up right now. Every day is a new lesson. Everybody's learning the same lesson, but everybody's learning it differently because it applies to them differently. So what's the lesson tomorrow when we reach the moment of the full moon? Well, that's when we meditate on the group lesson and see what is up for humanity tomorrow. And I think that would be a good time to do another podcast if you want to do it, or if you're willing, and we'll see what comes up tomorrow. This morning I did a preparation for that with some people, which shows me some of the things that are going to probably be included in that group meditation tomorrow, which is fabulous. And it's really a balance between free will and love, which honors the will of the divine nature is for the perfection of love in basically the shortest possible time, without violating human free will, because that seems to be something that the human race on Earth has a commitment to. And we don't know what the lesson is there, but we know it's a deep one because we honor it. We won't give it up. We'll fight to the death for it. And there's a reason for that. It's in our bones. It's in our destiny. It's in our future. And I think that freedom is the outcome of free will matured with love. When you mature free will with love, then you can release it more powerfully because it won't harm. Once you've included love along with will and intelligence as powers in your conscious life, you will not violate it because you just won't let yourself. Then freedom takes on an entirely new meaning because you can have access to far greater power because it's not in you to make a mistake with it. Love is a creative principle. Once it's invested in you as a power, you would have to turn against it to violate it. It's going to constantly inform you of what right action is, right application is within whatever freedom you're applying. So I think that there's a future lesson for humanity there that we have not yet begun to think about because we're still using our free will against things. I mean, we just do. Hell no, that's my parking space. Back off. So we and other things that are not dissimilar to that, but a little crazier maybe. Yeah. So I think that it's time for that to be seen in each of us, and then make a decision about yourself. Where do you stand? What are you going to give your future to? How are you going to be in the future? What are you going to change about you that makes you somebody worth knowing in that future by other people? All of that are responsibilities that we need to face. Not scary ones, not hard ones, just what do you want? Because you have the power of life and the power of love and the power of will and the gifts of intelligence to get what you want. So name it, and then act on it abundantly until you have it. And if it's love, you'll get it. You will achieve it. There are those masters of love, teachers of love, who wait for humanity to want to be interested. And then they can help it learn it. But if you want to learn a different lesson, then you're looking for a different teacher. So, but great beings like Cancer and the zodiacal signs, cosmic beings, they're a little hard to deal with on a one-on-one basis. But their energies are there to build with and grow your garden with and build it and have a wonderful life with if you apply them through love to your life. It's just the order in which you choose to apply energies. If I take the energy of Capricorn and apply it to my life negatively, then I become a selfish, grasping business executive or worse. But if I take that energy of Capricorn and apply it through love, then I become a leader of humans. I become a light to others because I'm shedding my light to make their life better. It's a question of purpose. And if you have love serving you in that action, then you don't lack anything, because love is a creative power. Whatever you need, it will produce so that you can serve the group with that gift. So it's up to us to decide which side of Taurus or Capricorn or any of the zodiacal signs we care to demonstrate and include love in that side of it and have fun with each other, because everybody's born somewhere in the cycle of the year. The system, surprisingly enough, is designed for this to work out properly. And so it will. It can't fail.
So, as you spoke about Cancer earlier, you said how it's supporting help build love and reality into humanity, and it's so. Would it be a good time, do you think, for people to make a decision to use this energy that's coming in to build a greater reality and relationship with love at this time, at this full moon?
Oh, sure, because Cancer, I'll read you one of the mantrams. A mantram is a word formula that expresses intention. And this is a mantram for Cancer, a spiritual mantram that gives it a positive use. It says, as the mother of forms, which is kind of how we think about Cancer, I manifest the world of causes, which is what, see, love is the only cause in the universe. Love is the creative power of whatever we call life. So, as the creative power of life, love causes. Now, you can think that an asteroid hitting the Earth is causing the dinosaurs to expire, but that's just our belief in cause and effect on the material world. There's no way in which that's going to happen unless love is directing the outcome, for whatever reasons it is. So, as the mother of forms, I manifest the world of causes, which means that it's manifesting the kingdom of love. That is the world of causes. The world in which the soul consciousness thrives in each of us lives in the world of causes, which is the world of love. It's the kingdom of love, or the kingdom of God in that parlance. But I manifest the world of causes transforming, because transformation is an act of love. Love does transformation. So Cancer, you can see that Cancer is fully aligned with love in its intentions here. Transforming instinctual man into a living soul. Well, you already are a living soul, so we're just really transforming your consciousness into becoming conscious of your living soul, which effectively turns you into it, doesn't it? Because if you're not conscious of a thing, doesn't matter whether you have it or not. You can have $1 million in the bank. If you're not conscious of it, it doesn't exist for you.
Yeah.
So the fact that everyone has a soul is an arguable and debatable question to a lot of people. But until you're conscious of it, you really won't have it, will you? It'll be there for you. It's already there. It's already working in relationship to you in the world of causes. But it becomes yours through Cancer's help as you're transformed into a living soul. I build a house of light and dwell therein. So that's two creative acts in one. One is building the house of light and then living in it with you. So it says, and finish this little mantra, I am the one who feeds the sacred fire. Well, the sacred fire is the fire of spirit, and whatever quality of life is lodged in what we call spirit, that's in you. That's what's connected to your heart, making it beat. So that's the sacred fire that Cancer feeds, so it can grow in you into something that you can circulate consciously through your whole system as a spiritual man. And it says, then, I am the revealer of beauty. So you can see, if you embraced Cancer, you're going to get a lot of benefits out of it. And it's here at a flood tide at the full moon. The only difference between a full moon and other stages of the moon is the amount of sunlight that's hitting the earth. And that sunlight is transmitting, because of the nature of the solar being in relationship to Cancer, which is a constellational being, which is a being made up of solar beings. So it's enhancing that, it's expanding that, it's increasing that intensity. So when we reach the full moon, that's when if you're going to bend steel, you've got to get it white hot. And when you get it to the right temperature, if you're good at it, you can tell by looking at the steel, now's the time to hit it with a hammer, because it'll bend it properly. It will shape it properly because it's now malleable. It's become plastic. Well, there's a point at which the intensity of the solar energy at the full moon leaves the opportunity for this activity of shaping and changing and carrying forward new events can happen. Now, the new moon, which is really cool, is the seed planting. That was a couple of weeks ago. So a couple of weeks ago, when the new moon showed up, Cancer's new moon, then we plant the seed. At the full moon, and that's why farmers have learned over time that you plant seeds at the new moon and you do other things at the full moon. So there's a system to the cycle of the year that carries everything naturally towards completion. And when we work in harmony with it, our farm succeeds well. When we work against it, we struggle. So that's all. And I think that doesn't make everything that you think about with astrology or any of that real. But you have to realize astrology is a science based on the relationship of living beings to each other. That's all. Cancer is either a living being or it's not. If it is a living being, self-conscious, aware, and cosmic in its scope and reach and depth, then its impact on Earth at certain times of the year is going to be greater than at other times of the year. So if that's true, and I think it pretty much is true, because there's nothing in the universe that isn't alive, and some of it's been around a long time. And when it's been around that long, it starts to get pretty smart. So we can think about a big bang and everything popped out, but it takes time to grow a solar consciousness, a planetary consciousness, a human consciousness. And I don't think humans have any idea how old they are. If they knew how old they were, if you knew how old you were, you'd probably hate yourself for being as dumb as you are, which is what most of us would take a look at and go, shit, I haven't been around that long, have I? Yes, you have. Why am I not smarter? Well, there are reasons for that. So get smarter, that's all. Now it's time to take it in hand and grow. So anyway, that's how I think in doing our podcast live, it's about what's up that moment in the ethers around us and with us that we can seize and apply to ourselves to strengthen the love in us, to strengthen the harmony in us, to strengthen the power to be a whole creative being, to download the rest of you into yourself and express yourself fully. I mean, I've got one of these iPhones, and I'm probably using 5% of it, less, because I'm an idiot. There are people who actually get way more use out of it than I do because they know how to learn it. And I think AI is the same kind of a thing. AI is out there, but who in the hell knows what to do with it? Very few. But those who do can get a lot done. Well, spirituality is a simple AI. It's an artificial intelligence that is not artificial. It's actually real. And so, and by real, I mean it's not based on the past. All those beings grew from the past, previous universe, but they project themselves towards the purpose of the future, which AI cannot do. Only a human being can connect itself to the energy of its own future purpose and apply that to its activities. And once you get into love, then you're connected. You can connect yourself to the divine purpose of the universe because love is doing it. It's already about it. Otherwise, we're about the purpose of our ego. Get laid, get a better job, get a new car. Those are ego things that we want because they give us pleasure or they give us a sense of accomplishment. But to connect that, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no harm in that because you're growing through the experience of doing it. But if you want to include the purpose of love, why not?
Yeah.
You can do it. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't. And some people try to do that. They try to include the purpose of love while they're getting a new car, while they're getting laid, while they're getting a better job. They don't want to serve food that harms. They want to serve food that heals and makes people feel better. where the guy down the road is just serving whatever he can pull out of the ground. And there's somebody that wants to buy that because that's the experience they're headed for. So this is a mobile world. It's all moving. Every part in it is on the move. And every part that's moving has been driven forward by motive and purpose. And your part is also being driven forward by motive and purpose. And it's time to look at that and connect it to greater and better motives and purposes and increase its power. How do you do that? Include more love. It is the most powerful thing in the freaking universe, so why not? Anyway, that I don't have a lot more to say about it right now. So you tell me what you would like to do about it, and we'll see how we go from there.
Well, I definitely want to build it in, and I know that maybe we can talk about this on another one, but we've spoken before. I don't know if we've done it in a podcast, but we've spoken before about imperative, giving yourself an imperative. And I think I want to expand from that to it's not quite this, but giving yourself a reason, and a particular focus and a way to start building this in a very in almost like an organized way until it becomes natural. Maybe that's not the right approach, but
no, it's a beginning approach. Imperative doesn't have to have a specific target at it's a sense of wanting more meaning. If you want imperative in your life, then you want it to mean something. You want it to not be used and wasted. You want the little goal to have a greater idea invested in it than just your selfish purpose. If you think as a group being, if you think of yourself as a human contributor. Now, if you don't think of yourself as a human contributor, then your imperative is to just get a new car. I want a car. I don't give a damn about anybody else. I don't give a damn about other people. I want a car because I want to be able to pick up my girl and take her out in the woods and spoon. So that's okay. That's imperative. It's imperative that I get a car because she's going to get some other guy who does have a car if I don't come up with one soon. So, but the imperative of having more meaning in your life than you already do is what you're talking about. You work, you do a job, you make money, you buy your clothes, you buy your food, you take a girl out once in a while if you get lucky. So you're looking for something greater as an imperative in your life, and you don't know what it is, except that if you have more love, you think it might appear. I assume that about you because I think it's a logical assumption to think that I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what God wants me to do or what my soul wants me to do or what the world needs me to do that I'm any good at. But if I add love to my life, I think I'm going to get closer to it. There seems to be some wisdom in that.
Well, yes, but also I also just know that the holding of the love itself is the important part, is the thing, that there doesn't need to be another thing. Just doing whatever you're doing, but holding love, staying with love, that is the goal. That is the payoff. That is the whole thing. And I know that, and it pains me.
You're already doing a lot of things. So you're adding love to an already dynamic person.
Yeah.
So if you were doing nothing and you add love, you're still got nothing. So, but the moment that you take action towards something with yourself, then love has a place to go. It has a place to move. It has something it can connect to and attach with. So I think you're right. I think you can be serving the world. You're doing things. You're working with construction things, and you're working with building things, and you're working with other stuff. And you know that if you add love to that, it's going to improve the quality of what you're doing. Just the quality of love added to anything makes it better. Ice cream, it'll taste better. got to. And it will connect itself to a greater purpose than your own, because love embraces the entire human race, every single thing on earth, simultaneously, wanting it all to improve, to go forward, to become more perfect. So by connecting to love, you're enhancing that globally, just by having love in you. So I think that, and I don't think those are false ideas. I think that's absolutely true. So I don't think you're wrong about realizing any of that, because and also I think you realize that's the next step. Because if you don't do that, what the hell good is whatever you're doing going to be if there's no love in it?
Yeah.
So start increasing the conscious power of love in yourself, and whatever you're doing, that's going to go up. And whatever the benefit is to the human race, it's going to be exponentially better and bigger. And it will benefit people in ways that you can't yet imagine. And it will give you options that you can take as new pathways of expression that improve the human condition. Now, Jonas Salk decides that he's going to go out and find a way to help heal people better. So he goes out and finds a vaccine. And a vaccine is not something that anybody really even knew much about, but he did. He knew that that was something that if you put it in a human body, it could cause that human body to react and respond in a way that would drive the disease out or prevent it. So that's a very specific application of intention and will and purpose to a life, which he may not have thought about as love at all, but it was his great love of the human race and the human condition that sends him off to Africa to risk his life to find those things. So you can be completely unconscious of your own love of the world and humanity and goodness itself and act on it. And a lot of people do. I don't know what motivates Henry Ford to go out and put the world on wheels, but he did. And I think that very often it is the core desire to benefit humanity as a group that animates these legendary people to go out and do the thing they're doing. And if you said, did you do this for love? They might say, no, I didn't do it for love. I did it because I wanted to. I wanted to do this for the human race. I wanted this to be of a positive benefit to all mankind, so I went out and built a car. Now, a lot of people have died in cars. That still doesn't take anything away from that urge of everybody to get moving. We all want to go someplace, and a car gave us the ability to do it, and that expands our consciousness, and that expands our talents and our abilities, and in a way that nothing else is going to do, that wagons just couldn't do anymore. Horses were just not fast enough. So there's a lot of ways to view love and still be acting on it that have nothing to do with thinking of yourself as doing something specifically with love. I focus on it because I think it's a thing that humanity needs to recognize as an aspect of life. This is a life aspect, like will is, like intelligence is, but it's different. And it's real, and it's dynamic, and it's charged with great responsibility and purpose. And by acquiring that, by recognizing and acquiring that, you add that to your life, and then you become real. Until you add love to your life and act on it, you're technically, I don't think, real in your own life, because you're acting with will and intelligence, but you're leaving out one of the main elements and aspects of life, which is love, as a conscious application of yourself. And when you do that, you're living in illusion. You're not living fully conscious of the reality we're in. You're living without it. Now, I don't think Jonas Salk or these other guys, I don't think they were acting without love. I just don't think they were thinking about it all the time. They're just doing it because they're that great. They were that great in their own human experience that they could stand up in it already. And I think this is true of Buddhists, and I think it's true of many people in the religions and in all religions, there are those people who stand in love and act in love towards the human race to help it and benefit it without ever thinking, I love these people in any emotional way. It's just an energy, and it's not an energy that needs self-recognition. It doesn't need to be recognized for itself. It just needs to be used and applied. And it's time for us to do that. And by the way, I don't find fault with those who don't act according to the principles of love. In other words, there's nothing wrong with anybody. We may not like the way they act. They may be acting in ways that we think are hostile to others, and definitely not loving. And it may be true because they themselves lack a relationship to love. But the action they're taking may be trying to serve the purpose of the group to which they belong. You can assume that Putin, who's cost million lives and more, when you look at both sides, is really hostile to love. And personally, he might be. He certainly doesn't seem to care who he kills or doesn't kill. But to think that he's not trying to turn Russia into a greater country than it already is would be a mistake, because I think that is his intention. He loves that place. He wants Russia itself to be the most powerful country in the world, to lead the world forward in the way that he thinks it should go. The fact that that's not the direction love thinks it should go is a problem that he's having right now. And if he could see that, if he could see, oh, Russia does need to go forward, but it needs to go forward with love, and I'm in the way, then he'll realize why he's going to be out of the way very soon, because he's going to be removed as an obstacle by the people who think, look, Russia needs to go forward. We agree with that. We were going forward. We didn't need to get off track and suddenly reject all these national interests and attack everybody. We were doing okay. We have a lot of resources. We have a good future. Why did we do that? Well, we did it because Putin's vision of the future is different from some other people's. But that doesn't mean the vision isn't real, and it isn't a full commitment, and it's not he's willing to go forward day after day, making it happen in only the way that he knows how. So don't jump to being for and against people. That's just an illusion of personal choice. But if you want to include love in your actions and offer that choice to other people to include in their actions, then you're going to be part of what's going to divide the world into two great groups of people. Those who recognize the future development of the world with love, and those who don't care about it. And they're neither group bad. It's just a level of experience and intelligence and willingness to understand life, how life actually works. And you can't force people. You can't make. Sorry about that. I just dropped you because I was trying to get the mic. I'm blaming this. There's no one to blame for anything.
Well, it's better it was the iPad than it was you, Dan.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I could take a hit, but I don't want to. It's iPad. But my daughter uses this room. And every time I leave the studio all put together so I can come back and do it again, they come in and turn it into La La Land. So I have to redo everything and make it work all over. Yeah. And you didn't give me any notice today because you were not enthusiastic about doing a live adventure. So
I will do better at giving you some notice next time, Dan.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because I don't work off the cuff as well as I used to.
Yeah.
I was more coordinated. Anyway, yeah. So do its job, join in, try to be willing to let love have peace in the space, and let's see if we can make this something more usable. Yeah. There's a lot going on, and some of it's awful, and we've seen it. Bad news is bad news. what's going on in Texas, what's going on in New Mexico, what's going on in China, what's going on in other places, Israel, Iran, Ukraine. These aren't good things for people. But everyone grows from experience, and no one dies. This is something that love teaches, and you will learn from it. No one dies. Your body can die, but you can't. And that's almost a terrible thing to realize at a certain point. You are an immortal being. You are forever. And you're going to grow with your group and with others forever. And life is infinite enough that it's got room for us, all of us, and trillions more after us, and on we go. So we might as well prepare for that and advance ourselves into the energy of love so that we can have ecstatic enjoyment for the journey. I think I would prefer that. If I've got to be immortal and live forever, I want to do it as someone who's a master of love, not a pawn of evil. So, yeah, hope for a better life. Act on it abundantly. Let's get this energy manifesting in human consciousness in a way that it'll never go back and you'll never give it up. Love is a fire that once it burns in your consciousness, recognizably, you will never, ever surrender it. It will never be lost to you again, ever. It'll grow, because it has many different levels and dimensions, but you will never lose it. So that's worth having, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's millions of people who are capable of not only having it, but doing great good with it. Better than you and I. We're amateurs, maybe. But then there are some children growing up who need somebody to make some space for them to do it, to encourage them to do it, to bring it out of hiding into the visible consciousness where it will be in the future. In the future, it won't be something hidden and I wonder if it's real and all of that stuff. We're going to bring it out into the light of day and we're going to make it a real part of the human experience. And that's going to change everything. The whole civilization that's collapsing around us, that was not built with love. That was built upon the principles of evil. There's never been a civilization on earth yet built on the principle of love. Because it's a little different. It's a little different. And that doesn't make them wrong, because we built the best civilizations we could. That we always do. We always build the best we can at the time. And if it's sunk like Atlantis, or it fails like the Roman Empire, or the Greeks, or the Phoenicians, or any of the other ones, the Egyptians, that's because they didn't contain enough transcendent positive qualities to transform and transmute and grow and invest themselves into a greater loving future. Well, we have the ability to do that now. So we're going to have to do it. There's an old spiritual saying, those who can must. And there's enough in the human race who can, so we must. We must apply this energy. We must prove it. We must make it build institutions. The United Nations has to become a place where love lives in the minds and hearts of the people who are sent there to do it. And there are many in it that already does. I've been to United Nations meetings before myself. I went to one in the Philippines, and some of the people that were there were just fabulous people. Not
We're getting a lot of mic feedback, Dan. I don't know if...
oh, well, that's because I touched noise, you mean?
Yeah, it's also gotten very hot, but...
I can turn it down. I don't know. Well, that's just the volume. Maybe it was my little upset.
It might have been.
I don't know. I don't know how all this stuff works. Anyway. What do I know about any of it?
I think we're going to have to call it here anyway. But yeah, we'll hopefully try and get something in tomorrow for the full moon. And yeah, hopefully
tune into Cancer. Tune into the lives that feed their essential nature to the earth to be given to humanity so that we can turn our attention towards and bring love into our conscious ability to express. And we'll do it.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We're going to end our first ever live stream here, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Yeah. We might even give you some advance warning next time.
Maybe.